how's it going? Welcome back to the Total Control course. In this video, we're going to talk about the accent tap exercise. Now, this exercise is a somewhat of a spin-off or so of the first exercise that we did, in the sense that in the first exercise, we worked on getting great full strokes. Okay, we worked on perfecting the motion and the consistency and the volume and the rhythmic smoothness of the entire exercise with our stroke. In this exercise, we're going to do the same thing, but now we're going to add another level onto it, and that level is heights, which create different volumes as well as velocities and things like that. But it's really just going to be an exercise of two heights, which gives us our accents and our taps. All right. Now, don't get me wrong. Heights aren't the only thing that create accents. Velocity in the stroke can also create a louder sound. But for all intents and purposes for this exercise right now, we're going to focus on the heights as our primary source of volume difference. Okay? So this exercise contains a measure of low taps, which should be played the same way that you played every single stroke in the first exercise, just lower. Okay? So instead of playing them up here, same principle, same concepts, but you're only rebounding up to about here. Okay? So that's the first thing that we're going to be focusing on, is applying those philosophies and technique to a lower note or taps. All right? Then the second part of this exercise is to actually go between the two and be able to control the rebound so that you go from taps to accents and back down to taps. All right? Now, the underlying principle here to focus on throughout the entire course of the exercise in terms of a rhythmic standpoint is the eighth note. Right? The eighth note rhythm should be super consistent throughout this entire exercise, because the rhythm throughout the entire exercise is all eighth notes. All right? Now, I point this out because you should constantly be thinking about this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Super smooth, consistent, evenly spaced apart. All right? Then, the only difference between the measures like this and the measures with the accents is that the measures with the accents have notes that are slightly louder than this. Okay? But the fundamental rhythm does not change. Right? And I say that and I make a big point about this because a lot of people will go to play this exercise and play this portion really great, and then when they get to the accents, all of a sudden the rhythm becomes completely skewed because they're so focused on playing that accent. All right? So focus on the rhythm of the consistent, smooth eighth notes throughout the entire thing. Okay? The next point to focus on is making sure that after you play an accent, you're able to use the natural weight of your hand to control the rebound so that it only rebounds up to a tap height. Right? Now, the way I phrase that might have been something a little new for you. Okay? Let me say that again. After you play an accent, control the rebound with the natural weight of your hand so that it rebounds to a tap height. And the reason I say that is because the stick is still rebounding. Some of us think of this as just a downstroke and that we stop or like completely end the rebound. Well, if we did that, we'd get this, okay? So we're not doing that. We're controlling the rebound. The stick is still rebounding, but it's a partial rebound. And it's only rebounding to a tap height, right? So I encourage you, if you haven't thought of it that way before, to just start in an upward position and use the natural weight of your hand, right? There's not a whole lot of force. You're just preventing your wrist from going with the flow of the rebound to let the stick come back up, right? So you're just using the natural weight of your hand to allow a partial rebound and let the stick come up to a tap height, and then allow you to make another tap. Okay? So, like I said, if you haven't thought of it this way before, start with the stick up and end at a tap height. All right, and get comfortable with that motion, because that motion alone is a really important fundamental motion that we're going to be focusing on with this exercise. The opposite is also true. When you go from a tap to an accent, you're starting low and you have an extended rebound that ends high for the next accent. Again, start low at tap height, play the note, and rebound high. Okay? So those are two really important strokes and aspects of the stroke that I suggest you practice individually like we just did there. Okay, so get comfortable with both of those, and then check out the next video, which is the play along video for this accent tap exercise.